Mining in Star Citizen has been a staple for players looking to make their mark in the verse. But is it delivering the excitement and depth we've all been waiting for? With the game evolving and new features on the horizon, mining could become even more essential. Mining in Star Citizen debuted with Alpha 3.2, quickly growing into one of the game's most detailed gameplay loops. Whether it's blasting rocks in space with the Prospector, operating the multi-crew Argo Mole, or going hands-on with the multi-tool for some FPS mining, players have a range of options to explore. But as with any core feature in an evolving game, there are still issues and room for growth. In this video, we'll take a closer look at mining's current state, some of its major pain points, and what future developments could make it an even more vital profession in the Star Citizen universe. Before we dive into the video, I need to mention that some of the ideas discussed when talking about the future are speculative, and some of these are not confirmed by CIG. These are just potential additions that could make mining a more engaging and crucial part of the Star Citizen experience, so take them with a grain of salt. Mining has been a central gameplay loop in Star Citizen for years, offering a structured process: prospecting, fracturing, extraction, and refinement. Each step adds layers of challenge and reward, whether you're cracking rocks on an asteroid or deep in a cave. There's a lot to appreciate about the ships that make mining possible. The Prospector is the perfect choice for solo miners, allowing players to work efficiently and independently. For those who prefer to work with a crew, the Argo Mole brings a collaborative approach to mining, where each crew member operates an independent mining turret. And on the horizon, larger ships like the RSI Orion and Arastra will offer even more options with onboard refineries, making these ships fully self-sufficient and capable of large-scale mining operations. Quantanium, currently the most unstable and valuable deposit, has added an exciting layer to mining. It's a high-stakes material that can explode if not refined or sold quickly, offering a rewarding but risky experience for those who seek it. However, Quantanium is one of the few examples where risk and reward come into play at this level, which brings us to some of the issues in the current mining loop. While mining is one of the more complete professions in Star Citizen, there are still several pain points that need addressing for it to further evolve. One of the main criticism miners express is that after a while, the gameplay loop feels repetitive. You prospect, fracture, extract, refine, and sell, rinse and repeat. While it's initially engaging, the lack of variety in the types of challenges you encounter, combined with the lack of connecting features, makes the process feel predictable over time and sometimes pointless. There's little in the way of random events or dynamic environmental conditions that could shake things up. Now, the concept of multi-crew mining is fantastic in theory. The Mole is a great example of this, offering a ship designed for group mining. However, the roles within the crew don't feel specialized enough. Right now, it often feels like every crew member is just pointing a mining laser at the rocks, without much room for dedicated roles like cargo management, energy control, or even specialized mining tasks such as refining. The depth is lacking, which can make multi-crew mining less rewarding and far less cooperative than it could be. This brings us to FPS mining, which includes mining in caves or on foot with hand tools like the multi-tool, or even using ground vehicles like the Grey Cat Rock. The problem here is that FPS mining often doesn't feel worth the time. The resources you find in caves or on the ground are typically not valuable enough to justify the effort it takes to locate and mine them, especially when compared to the yields you get from ship-based mining. Whether you're deep inside a cave system or out on a moon with your Grey Cat Rock, the rewards rarely feel substantial enough to justify the time spent. This has led many players to avoid FPS mining entirely, as the profits don't align with the effort required. There's also a limited number of resources to mine on planets overall, which reduces the variety and appeal of this aspect of the game. More types of minerals or harvestables could significantly improve this side of mining. Currently, the biggest risk in mining comes from handling Quantanium, with its volatile nature. However, aside from that, mining most other minerals is relatively low risk, and the rewards often don't reflect the effort or dangers. The game needs more valuable minerals that provide different levels of risk and reward, encouraging miners to take on more challenging operations. Another issue miners face is the lack of dynamism in the economy. The prices for minerals don't fluctuate enough based on supply and demand, which makes mining feel disconnected from the larger universe. Players can flood the market with certain minerals without it impacting their value, which eliminates the need for strategy when selling resources. A more dynamic economy that reacts to how much is mined would add a layer of depth and force miners to think strategically about when and where to sell their goods. Now, before we get into what the future may hold, if you're finding this deep dive into Star Citizen's upcoming features valuable, consider subscribing. It's a small action that helps the channel grow and keeps you up to date with all of the latest news and gameplay mechanics coming to the verse. Plus, it's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of the exciting updates that are sure to come as the game continues to evolve. But let's get back to mining. Looking forward, Star Citizen's mining loop could evolve in exciting ways, especially with the integration of other gameplay loops like crafting and base building. Now, a little while ago, I covered both base building and crafting that you can find in the description below. But once these systems are live, mining will play a pivotal role in providing the resources necessary to fuel these other professions, and finally make it even more worthwhile. In the future, mining will likely become a critical profession for crafting high-tier gear, armor, weapons, and even ships. Players will need to gather and refine resources for personal use, or to help their organization with base building projects. Establishing bases will require vast quantities of resources, which will force large-scale mining operations to play a central role. This will also give organization mining operations more importance, as players will need to pool resources to achieve long-term goals like constructing outposts or crafting rare items. Players will no longer be mining just to sell minerals for profit, but to directly influence their crafting and base building endeavors. In addition to needing more types of minerals, we could see an expansion on the quality of resources mined. Currently, all minerals of the same type are treated equally, but this could change as CIG develops more complex systems. Minerals extracted from different areas could vary in quality, meaning that not all deposits would yield the same amount or purity of material. The mining process itself could impact the quality of the material. For instance, how well you manage the fracturing process or how precisely you extract the fragments could determine the quality of the final product. This would reward players who pay attention to their mining skills and encourage mastery over the process. The refining process could also introduce more complexity. In the future, players may have the opportunity to further refine their minerals on board ships or at refineries to improve the final quality. Poorly refined materials could have lower value or less usefulness in crafting, while high-quality materials would yield more valuable and effective products. One of the most promising areas of expansion for mining is the multi-crew experience. As ships like the Orion and the Erastra come online, they will likely introduce more specialized roles for crew members, giving them defined tasks to enhance the mining operation. For example, a player dedicated to managing the ship's refinery, optimizing the refinement process to produce higher quality materials. This role could involve adjusting temperature and pressure settings, selecting the right refining methods, and ensuring the process is running smoothly. Another important role could be the scanning operator, responsible for finding and identifying high-value mineral deposits. This player would use advanced scanning equipment to ensure that the mining crew is targeting the richest deposits, making prospecting more engaging and giving it more depth. The cargo operator will be in charge of managing the ship's storage, ensuring that extracted minerals are properly stored and ready for transport. This role could involve planning storage strategies, jettisoning excess or unwanted material, and coordinating with the pilot to ensure efficient operations. Now, all of these roles were clearly defined in their design notes on mining in 2015, and it's anyone's guess if they still plan to implement these roles. But by introducing these roles, multi-crew ships would become more dynamic and rewarding, allowing each member of the crew to specialize and contribute in meaningful ways. And with the upcoming engineering gameplay being added in 4.0, this could add even more room for multi-crew gameplay. No longer would everyone simply be operating mining lasers. Each player would have a distinct and valuable task. To make mining more engaging, elemental challenges could add new layers of risk and excitement. Mining in hazardous areas like asteroid belts could introduce fast-moving debris that must be avoided, or seismic activity on planets could make surface mining more dangerous. Players might have to deal with environmental hazards, ship malfunctions, or even pirates looking to steal their haul. These dynamic elements would make each mining operation feel unique and force miners to adapt their strategies based on the conditions they face. Another exciting possibility for the future of mining is the introduction of a dynamic economy and player markets. Now, we've talked about these a lot in previous videos, and it's obviously a theme that we need an economy and player markets. But as the Star Sim economy comes online, players may no longer be limited to selling their mined and refined resources to the predetermined locations at fixed prices that we're used to right now. Instead, we could see a more flexible system where supply and demand play a significant role in determining the value of resources. Players could sell their resources directly to NPC traders or on the player-driven market once it's added, where other players, especially those focused on crafting and base building, might be in high demand for specific materials. This would encourage more strategic mining decisions, where players need to think about what resources are most in demand, whether they're selling to NPCs or directly to other players. With a dynamic economy, rarer minerals or those required for high-end crafting projects would fetch higher prices, while oversupply of common materials could drive prices down. For instance, a shortage of resources like agricium or gold might cause a spike in market prices, encouraging miners to seek out those minerals, while an overabundance of titanium could cause its price to plummet, forcing miners to rethink their operations and seek more profitable ventures. Refined goods could also fetch significantly higher prices, giving players an incentive to improve their refining capabilities and deliver premium quality materials to the market. This could foster player-to-player trade, with crafters and base builders purchasing high-quality refined resources from dedicated miners. Moreover, with player organizations establishing their own bases and supply chains, miners could become essential parts of larger economic machines, helping fuel the ongoing operations of orgs that need raw materials to keep expanding and producing high-tier equipment, vehicles, and facilities. Imagine being contracted by a player-run organization to supply critical materials for the construction of a base on a distant moon or a fleet of new ships. That is, of course, once they finally add a worthy player reputation system and player contract manager. In short, the introduction of a player-driven economy could make mining one of the most lucrative professions in Star Citizen, with players able to specialize in certain types of resources, refine them for maximum profit, and trade with other players on an open market. Mining in Star Citizen has come a long way since its introduction, but there's still so much potential for growth. With crafting, base building, a dynamic economy, and player-driven markets on the horizon, the profession is set to become even more essential. The possibilities for new roles, more dynamic environmental challenges, and strategic resource trading could turn mining into one of the game's most rewarding and engaging experiences. We could see new mineral types, resource quality mechanics, and expanded multi-crew roles that turn mining into an even more complex and rewarding experience. As the universe continues to evolve, so will the opportunities for miners to make their fortune. Whether you're a solo miner looking for the next big haul, or part of a larger organization, the future of mining in Star Citizen is filled with possibilities. But until these features come to life, we're left to wonder just how far CIG will push this profession. What do you think? Are there aspects of mining that you'd like to see improved? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member. Members get access to exclusive channels in my Discord, early access to videos, and even member-exclusive content every month. Your support helps me create in-depth videos like this one, diving into the complexities of Star Citizen's ever-evolving gameplay. So if you want to take that next step, you can support us here on YouTube or on Patreon. And if you want more information on how engineering could make for thrilling multi-crew gameplay, you'll want to check out the next video. Fly safe, pilots, and we'll see you in the verse. Havoc out.